Imagine this. You've just been handed the keys to Chelsea Football Club. And no, I don't mean the modern head coach gig where you just pick a lineup and pray. The old school kind. Transfers, the dressing room, the whole damn works. A 4-year contract with your name on it. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, here's your reality check. You walk into Stamford Bridge and the vibe is less elite football club and more airport departure lounge during a nationwide strike. Half the squad is already on their phones checking flights out. Cucurella, gone. The kids are all insanely expensive and legally require a signed permission slip just to go on a school trip. There is no adult in the room, literally. The most experienced player in your squad might be 24. Outside, the fans are furious enough to strip paint straight off the stadium seats. And somewhere deep in the corridors, the ghosts of the last 5 managers are still trying to find the exit. What's your move? Well, you don't have to imagine it, because this is exactly the chaos Xabi Alonso just walked into. Today, we are breaking down his master plan, the bloated squad he needs to gut, the world-class players he's targeting, and the exact tactical formation he's bringing to London. Does he copy his legendary Leverkusen blueprint, or does Stamford Bridge need something else entirely? Let's get into it. As a player, Xabi was the guy who never looked like he was even trying. He was a master midfielder who didn't just play the game, he controlled it. He ran matches like a calm musical conductor, completely bossing the pitch without ever breaking a sweat. Champions Leagues wanted a selfie with, not a tackle on. He retired in 2017, but as football history loves to remind us, being a legendary player doesn't automatically make you a great manager. And here's the part that actually matters. Alonso didn't skip the queue. He didn't demand a top-flight job on day one just because his trophy cabinet required its own zip code. He coached Real Madrid's under-14s, then Real Sociedad's B team, and dragged them up a division. He paid actual, real dues. And then came his absolute masterpiece. He went to Bayer Leverkusen and did the literal impossible. He broke an 11-year Bayern Munich monopoly. He won Leverkusen's first ever Bundesliga title, and he went completely undefeated doing it. Bayer Leverkusen finally shed their tragic Neverkusen moniker forever, sealing a historic domestic double. But then, the plot twisted. Alonso went back to Real Madrid in 2025, and it went horribly, tragically wrong. In just 7 short months, the dream return transformed into a chaotic reality TV show. Alonso ran headfirst into the ultimate final boss of modern football, toxic player power. He clashed heavily with massive superstars who clearly treated running backward or pressing as optional weekend hobbies. Vinicius Jr. threw a massive prime-time tantrum after being subbed off in El Clasico. Meanwhile, Federico Valverde complained to the media about playing out of position, acting as if running on grass was a personal insult to his lifestyle. When the dressing room turned into a full-scale mutiny, Real Madrid president Florentino Perez didn't back his captain. He threw the manager overboard just to please the Pirates. Left stranded with zero support and refusing to lower his standards, Alonso packed his bags. He left by mutual consent after 7 months without a single trophy. Which brings us directly to July 2026. Alonso is back in blue. He has that shiny 4-year contract, but more importantly, he has a massive point to prove. He is not here to be bullied by player egos or boardroom politics anymore. So, what exactly is waiting for him at Stamford Bridge? The challenge list looks like a straight-up horror movie script. First up, the bloated squad syndrome. He has to trim down a roster so massive that players probably need name tags just to pass the salt at lunch. Second, the experience drought. Infusing tactical discipline into raw youngsters who are incredibly talented but tactically chaotic. And third, the Enzo Fernandez mystery. Rumours are absolutely swirling that Enzo might be forcing his way out. If he leaves, Alonso loses his primary midfield controller on day one. forcing Chelsea straight into the transfer market for an immediate veteran leader. But Alonso is already tearing up the old script. Forget a rigid system. Chelsea under Alonso will fluidly shift between shapes, treating the pitch like a massive chessboard. As a player, he mastered the pitch. As a manager, he manipulates it. He bridges the gap between Pep Guardiola's strict positioning and Carlo Ancelotti's fluid, individual freedom. But how does his philosophy actually work? Welcome to a tactical masterclass. Today, we break down his ultimate tactical blueprint, from his signature 3-at-the-back system to his flexible 4-back hybrid. Let's get into it. When you think of Alonso, you think of the 3-4-2-1, but forget what you know about traditional back three systems. For Alonso, this isn't defensive. It is a launchpad for absolute control. It all starts from the back. Alonso's side creates a 3-2 build-up shape. The 3 centre-backs spread wide, while the 2 central midfielders stay close in front of them. This forms a box. Why? It creates a numerical overload against teams that press with 2 strikers. The goalkeeper acts as an extra passer. Alonso's team passes short and sharp, baiting the opponent to press high. Once the opponent steps up, a passing lane opens directly to the midfield. If you control the centre, you control the game. This is where Alonso's magic happens. His 2 attacking midfielders, the dual 10s, don't stay wide. They tuck inside, stepping right into the half spaces between the opponent's midfield and defence. Suddenly, there are 4 players in the centre of the pitch. They form a box midfield that suffocates opponents. They look for short, quick, relationist passes, 1-2s that pull defenders out of position. Once the centre is congested, the trap is sprung. Alonso's wing-backs fly forward like Olympic sprinters. The opponent's defence is forced to compress inside to cover the 10s, which leaves ocean-wide space on the flanks. A quick switch of play out wide, and the wing-backs are free to cross, low drive, or cut inside. In possession, that 3-4-2-1 morphs into a devastating 3-2-5 attacking wall. 5 players pinning down the opponent's defensive line. But what happens when they lose the ball? This is where Alonso's philosophy turns aggressive. Because Alonso's players stand so close together in that central box midfield, they are already perfectly positioned the moment possession flips. They don't run back, they hunt forward. Instantly, a 3-man cage locks around the ball carrier to win it back within 5 seconds. If the opponent escapes the press, Alonso's team seamlessly transitions into defence. The wing-backs drop deep instantly. The 3-4-2-1 quickly reshapes into a compact, narrow 5-4-1 or 5-3-2. They block the middle of the pitch entirely. They force the opponent to pass sideways and backwards, effectively dictating where the opponent can play without even touching the ball. Now, let's look at his alternative weapon, the 4-3-3. When Alonso deploys this, it's not your standard rigid formation. It is a tactical illusion. On the team sheet, it looks like a flat back 4, but watch closely when the game starts. In possession, one of the traditional fullbacks will step inside, moving into the midfield line. At the same time, one of the central midfielders pushes higher up the pitch. Look at the board now. The shape has dynamically transformed right back into his favourite formula, a 3-2 build-up foundation. Why use it? Alonso prefers this hybrid 4-3-3 when he wants to exploit specific individual matchups out wide. Instead of relying purely on wing-backs for width, he uses elite natural wingers who can isolate defenders one-on-one. The principles remain completely identical. Bait the press, flood the centre, lock down transitions, and control the rhythm of the match. But remember, no tactical formation is bulletproof. Football is a living, breathing game where managers must constantly make tweaks and adjustments to survive. The player profiles available in a squad dictate what is actually possible on the pitch. As opponents figure out his blueprints, the true test of genius will be reinvention. So, let's wait and see exactly how Xabi Alonso adapts his masterclass for the battles ahead. Whether it's a 3-4-2-1 or a fluid 4-3-3, Xabi Alonso's philosophy isn't about rigid shapes. It is about spacing, manipulation, and controlling the mind of the opponent. He doesn't just play the game, he dictates it. What do you think is Alonso's best tactical trait? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more masterclasses. See you next time.